stay the course. Now we're getting a word that says, turn not to the left, nor to the right. Amen. Stay the course. Amen. Then we heard earlier, don't be afraid, because God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. Amen. So we got some orders here. Amen. Last week we were supposed to speak to the dry places. Amen. Sometimes on the course there come some dry places. Amen.
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all don't want to hear me this morning. Amen. It comes some dry places. Amen. You know, because the apostle was, kind of like all in my message. Because she was talking about, sometimes you get some bills and stuff and you can't see your way out, amen. Some of us have been in there, but I don't know. Some of y'all ain't been in there because you're too cute. You red bottoms and black bottoms and all that, kind of shoes and stuff like that. But, you haven't been there, amen. But I've been there.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Where I've seen the bank account be empty. And I was in a dry place.
All right.
Amen. And see, God is telling us, don't fear when we get in a dry place. Amen. Don't fear, but stay the course.
Amen.
Amen. And that's one thing that we got to realize, that once fear grip our heart.
Come on now.
Amen. When fear grips us, the presence of God leaves when fear comes, because there's no fear in him.
Come on.
Amen.
Amen.
The presence leaves. The presence of God leaves us because he don't dwell in fear. Amen. He can't operate in the spirit of fear, because he said, I have not given you
Amen. Come on now.
the spirit of fear, but of sound mind. Amen. You're going to be in sound mind. Amen. When you're thinking and you think about fear want to hit you, you of sound mind. Amen. And of good courage. Amen. Let me finish reading this. The 8th verse. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Oh my God. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. So in other words, when I'm thinking about the law that the Lord has given me, it shall not depart out of my mouth. So in other words, fear is not going to grip my heart and say, how am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to pay the light bill? I'm going to say, it is paid. Amen.
That's right.
Because I'm staying the course. Amen. Wow. Thou shalt meditate therein day and night. In other words, all of my thinking all the time. Amen. I'm going to meditate on the word of the Lord. I'm going to speak to my dry places. Amen. That thou mayest observe and to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. And then thou shalt have good success. But I can't let this law, the book of the law, leave from my mouth. Amen. I always got to be speaking positive when I'm speaking. Amen. To every situation. Amen. Even in the dry places, I got to speak positive. Amen. And speak what the word says in order for me to have good success. I have not commanded thee, be strong, and have not I, thank you, have not I, he's asking you a question here, commanded thee, be strong and be of good courage. Be not afraid, neither shalt thou be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee. Whithersoever thou goest. Amen. Now, if I was to choose a text, when God started mentioning stuff 2 and 3 times, amen, he's trying to get his point across. Now, in the 5th verse, he told them, he said, I will be with thee. In the 9th verse, he's telling them, I will be with thee. So if I was to choose for a text, I would put the 2 together, amen, and I would say, I will be with thee. And our theme for the year, stay the course. Amen. But you got to stay the course. Amen. In other words, you got to line up with with the word, amen, and what the word says, amen. The course here is the 66 books. Amen. This is my roadmap, the Bible. B-I-B-L-E, amen. Basic instructions before leaving earth, amen. Because guess what? Time is winding up, amen. And you got to stay the course. Yes, sir. Amen. And I want to just break these 5 little words down, amen. Let me just tell you a little bit about the book of Joshua. In the book of Joshua, the Israelites are commanded to destroy everything and everybody so that they can take full possession of the land. Amen. In other words, in order for them to stay the course, anything that got in their way, they had to destroy it. Amen. Anybody that got in their way, they had to destroy it. Because see, their leader now was not Moses, amen. Joshua was their leader, amen. And Joshua was a fighter. Amen. Amen. And Joshua was known to fight, amen. So what God is trying to just give them some encouragement here and tell them, look, you got to stay the course and destroy it. If it's not like the word, destroy it. Get rid of it. Amen. You don't need anything to block you from staying the course. Amen. Because one thing that you want is you want God's presence to be with you. Amen. Amen. While you stay in the course. Amen. Amen. Now, you can also see, you got to read on further, how failure to carry out God's plan completely lays a foundation for future problems. Amen. The Israelites weren't always obedient, amen. When it came up against some of the battles, amen, they didn't follow God's plan, amen. They didn't stay the course, amen. They didn't destroy everything that came in their path, amen. Because this is some of us, amen. We want to be friends with some folk that come in our path, amen. But God said you ought to have been destroyed them, amen, because they're not a friend. They're an enemy, they're a blocker. Trying to get you to stop you from going to good success. That's right. God's plan. Amen. Yes. And let's look at this, because some of us, you know, we kind of timid. Amen. Now I was talking with my daughter after church last Sunday, and she was saying, you know, and that her and her mom listened to T.D. Jakes, and they saying, you know, where will you be in the next decade? And it made all of us think. You know, one say I'd be 50. One say I'd be 30. And I said, 30? I ain't ready for that. Amen. And then I said, whoo, I'll be 60. Amen. But it's in God's plan that we get there. Amen. But we have to stay the course. Right. So I want to give you something to think about. Where will you be in the next decade, amen, if you don't stay with God's plan? Amen. If you don't trust him to be with you, amen. If you can't say, I can depend on God, amen, for these next 10 years, where will you be? Amen. Now, Joshua was new at leadership. Amen. Some of us, we're new at some of the things that we're doing in this decade. Amen. And Joshua had to rely on God for his resources and his source. Amen. Yes, sir. Amen. He needed guidance. We need guidance to stay the course. Amen. Yeah. We need reassurance about this next mission into the next decade. Don't think about what you're going to be doing next year, but think about the next 10 years. Plan your life out for the next 10 years. Come on now. First thing I need to remember is I. He said, I will be with thee. And that's the only thing Joshua had to rely on was God's word. Yes. I will be with thee. Yes. Now look at this. God don't give us everything at once. Sometimes he has to just give us but a little bit. Amen. But let me tell you about a little bit. A little bit is a whole lot when God is in it. Amen. Amen. When God is in it, and you think about who the little is coming from, you got a whole lot. Amen. when God is in it.
Yes, Lord.
Amen. Now, today I just want to break down these 5 words and I'm going to move out your way. Amen. I. When you're talking about the I, who is behind the I? Amen. Who is behind the I?
Yes.
Amen. And it's the God who created the universe.
Yes, sir.
Amen. He said in the beginning it was a dark world. Amen. And that's what we got to realize in our beginning and staying the course. Amen. I've done some things in 19 and I've done some things in 18. I've done a whole lot of things in the past 49 years. Amen. But now leading up to this new decade.
Yes.
Amen. I want to stay the course. So God, I'm talking about the I, the God that called light and it came running.
Come on now.
Amen. The God that spoke to the sea and the mountains. Amen. And the mountains begin to stand back and the sea level begin to come down. The God that called the universe into existence is in this I.
Yes.
Amen. And I got a whole lot right there with just I. Amen. And I could talk about I all day long. And he says, I am your deliverer. I am your company keeper. I'm whatever you need. Whatever you need, I got it. Amen. It says, in the midnight hour, I'll be your mind regulator. Amen. He said, I am Jehovah Jireh, the God that provides for me. He said, I am Jehovah Rapha, the God that heals me. It's a whole lot in the eye. Amen. I am Jehovah Nissi, the all existing God. Amen. The God over every God. Just that in the eye.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Who wouldn't serve a God like that? He said, whatever you need, I got it.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you take those 5 words and work with it for life? Amen. I will be with thee. Amen. Then he moves on down to will. Amen. He didn't say that the will. He didn't say that I might. Amen. He said I will.
I will.
He didn't say I can. He said I will.
Come on now.
Amen. So sometimes when you get nervous on the course and you get in a dry place, think about I will.
I will.
I will. That means he's right now. Right there, right now. I will.
Come on now.
Glory.
God says he will. Then if he says he will, then he will do it.
Yes, he will.
Amen. God has his mind made up. And he knows what he will do and what he won't do. Amen. So don't go asking him no crazy stuff. Amen. Don't go asking him for nobody husband, nobody wife, and all that. Don't ask him to kill nobody. Amen. If it's in his will that they die, they're going to die. Amen. In their due time, they're going to die. Don't ask him no crazy stuff. Because he knows what he will and what he won't do. Amen. He already saw you and he saw the best in you. So don't go asking him for the worst.
Come on now. Come on now.
That's not what he means when he said, I will.
All right.
Amen. How many of you know that God has some wills attached to your life?
Amen.
Amen. There's some things that he's already willed to you. Amen. You know how a child wants their inheritance. Amen. But there's some things that are in God's will that are for you.
Amen.
Amen. He already has some things that are attached. Will to you already. And he ain't talking about when you get over in glory. Amen. He's talking about some things right now. Amen. Right now on this earth. Amen.
Yes.
Got some things willed to you.
Come on now.
Amen.
Help us.
When Jesus died, he left us an inheritance.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Things willed to his children. Amen. God said after you get through, even after you get through, going through, he said, I'm still going to carry you because I said, I will.
Yeah.
Amen. And now look at this now. God's not going to break your will to get his will done. So what you ought to do, church, is line up with God's will. Amen. Line up with his will. Amen. Because it is his will that you be blessed and not cursed.
Right.
It is his will that you be the head and not the tail. Amen. Above and not beneath. Amen. The lender and not the borrower. Amen. It's his will that you shall live and declare the work of the Lord and not die. Amen.
All right.
His will.
Help us, Father.
Will.
Yes, Lord.
Now, let me just back it up a little bit, amen. Because many people don't know his will. We saying, Lord, what is your will? His will is his word.
Yes, sir.
Amen. Anything contrary to his word, then it's not his will.
Not his will.
Amen. And if it's contrary to his word, then it's not for me, because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait on his will to be done in my life. See, I want my life to line up with his will. I want my will to line up with his will. I want my life to line up with his word. Amen. And if it ain't right, you know, it's like one of those puzzles. Amen. Everything got to get back in line.
Yeah.
Glory.
Amen. Because I'm sitting here waiting on him. Amen. And he's waiting on me.
Yeah.
Amen. Because after a while, I got to do something. Amen. If I move towards him, he'll move towards me. Amen. If I mess around and get in his will.
Yes, Lord.
That's the go ahead.
Yes, Lord.
Don't let me mess around and get in his will. Then you looking at a shown up blessed brother. You looking at a shown up prosperous brother. You looking at a shown up healed brother. You shown up looking at an anointing. Once I mess around and get in his will, I dare you to get in his will.
Yeah.
Somebody ought to tell the Lord thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
I dare you to mess around and get in his will.
Yes, Lord.
Because he said, I will. That was his second word. See, his first word was powerful. It was just enough for the eye. But when he said, I will, meaning that my will gonna be with you. All you got to do is line up with my will. And my will will line up with your will.
Come on, Bishop.
I will.
I will.
Yes, sir.
Then we're gonna move on down. He said, look at this though. I got to get this out, y'all. He said, after you get through, I'm still gonna carry you.
Yeah.
Because see, sometimes when we stay in the course, and Sister Morton, we go through the storm and we go through the rain. And I can't physically pick Apostle up. But he said, come on here. I'm going to carry you everywhere you need to go, Jesus. I'm going to be right here with you, Jesus. It's my will that I carry you. He said, I will. He said, I'm going to be your ride or die. You don't need nobody else. I'm going to be your ride or die. I'm strong enough to carry you with whatever you're going through. I'm strong enough. That's my will that I carry you from the beginning to the end. It's my will.
Hallelujah.
That I carry you.
Hallelujah.
Strong enough.
Thank you, Lord.
See, sometimes
Yes, Lord.
when we go through the storm
Hallelujah.
and we go through the rain, you look at a house sometimes and that house look like it's built solid. But after a while, you see the shingles coming off. You see the sidings going out. Sometimes the hailstorms come and it breaks the windows out, and that house just look like it don't have any will to stand. But when it's got God on its side, and God said, I will.
Glory to God.
I'm going to carry you.
Hallelujah.
See, sometimes you can't carry yourself on your own power. You can't carry yourself on your own will. Amen. But your will has got to line up with God's will. And he will carry you. Sister Della, no matter how many times death rises up, God said he will carry you through the storm and through the rain. He will carry you. Go to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and he called out death, and he said, oh death, where is your sting? Oh grave, because it's his will
Yes, Lord.
that he carry you.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Preach,
My
Bishop.
God, my God.
Yes, Lord.
We're going to get through all 5. And then B, many people know him of his omnipresence, meaning that he's everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
But this B is God is saying, I want to show you my manifested presence. I want to show you that it's not a universal thing. It's not omnipresent, but it's I am your manifested presence. I'm walking with you every step of the way. I'm going to be right there in the time of trouble. When your will seems broken, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be your ride or die. I'm your partner for life. I will be.
Yeah. Glory. Hallelujah.
I will be.
Yes, Lord.
Say, I will be.
I will be.
I will be.
I will be.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
He said, I'm your presence. And he said, I will.
Yes,
I'm
Lord.
willing to let go of let nothing come between us. As long as you don't, let nothing come between us. I'm going to be right there. I'm just a call away. All you got to do is say, Jesus, Jesus, and I'll show up because I'm going to be.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Yes, Lord.
I'm going to be.
Yes, Lord.
Be right there.
Right there.
Have you ever had some friends and you got in trouble? I'm not talking about no little penny ante trouble. I'm talking about you got in some show-enough trouble.
Yes, Lord.
And you needed somebody to talk to. You needed some money to get out of a situation.
Yes, Lord.
And you called on your friend.
Yes, Lord.
But your friend was nowhere to be found. But I tell you, a man that said, I'll be there for you. I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you.
Yes, Lord. Glory.
Said, when my mother and father forsaken me, he was right there to